Good afternoon, football fans. Big Al here on this Monday, February 10th, 2025, and welcome to the season finale of the week that was, as we'll be taking a look at Super Bowl 59. We'll run down every play of the game, plus the final score, and who took home NFL, or not NFL MVP, but rather Super Bowl 59 MVP honors. So stick around and I will run you through the entire Super Bowl. But first, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, ring the bell, and get notified every time I go live. And off we go with the Chiefs and the Eagles, Super Bowl 59. This is a rematch from 2 seasons prior. Okay. The Chiefs ended up winning the toss and deferred to the second half, so the Eagles got the ball first. Starts off with a touchback. Then you had a 4-yard run by Saquon Barkley, an 8-yard pass from Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith, then a 3-yard run by Saquon Barkley, and then Hurts hit Saquon for a 4-yard loss. Then it's a 9-yard rush by Jalen Hurts. And then there was a controversial pass interference call on the Eagles, which cost them 10 yards. I didn't see any interference, so I don't know what the refs were looking at. It says the drive into the punt by Braden Mann, which went for 53 yards. Chiefs returner Nico Remigio returns it for 5 yards. So on the Chiefs' first possession, Patrick Mahomes hits Juju Smith-Schuster for an 11-yard gain. And then he would then hit Xavier Worthy for a 1-yard gain. And then back-to-back incomplete passes for Mahomes. One down the middle for Travis Kelce, the other down the right for Hollywood Brown. And so the Chiefs do pick up a first down, but the drive stalls. Ariza punts 58 yards to Cooper DeJean, who returns it for 13. Eagles ball with 9:40 left in the first quarter. You had a 2-yard run by Saquon Barkley, then a Jalen Hurts 20-yard pass to Dallas Goedert for a first down, and then Saquon rushes for 3, and then up the middle for 2. An unnecessary roughness penalty was called on the Chiefs for 15 yards. That moved the ball all the way to the Chiefs' 27, where Saquon gets a 1-yard loss. And then Jalen Hurts will hit Jahan Dotson for a 27-yard gain. It was initially ruled a touchdown, but they overturned it. But not a problem. Jalen Hurts on the tush push gets the 1-yard touchdown run. Jake Elliott's PAT made it 7-0 Eagles with 6:15 left in the first. And then this was a quick Chiefs second possession. Jake Elliott would kick the ball off for 67 yards. Remigio returns it for 35 out to the 33-yard line. And then Mahomes hits Juju Smith-Schuster for 5. And then Kareem Hunt would rush up the middle for a gain of 2. And then an incomplete pass by Mahomes intended for Hollywood Brown ends the drive. Ariza punts, goes 60 yards for a touchback. Eagles get the ball back with 4:36 left in the first. Hurts throws incomplete for Johnny Wilson, and then Saquon gets a meager 2-yard gain on a rush up the middle. Hurts would then hit Devonta Smith to the left for 9 yards. And then another pass completion to Jahan Dotson for 15. And then a 9-yard run by Hurts, 4-yard run by Saquon, 4-yard run by Kenneth Gainwell, and another run by Gainwell for 2 yards. 5-yard offsides were called against the Chiefs that moved the ball to the Kansas City 30. Jalen Hurts rushes up the left side for a loss of 4. That ends the first quarter with Philly up 7-0. In the second quarter, Jalen Hurts hit Saquon Barkley for a 4-yard pickup. And then Jalen would be intercepted by Brian Cook. And so the Chiefs get the ball at the 2-yard line with 14:15 left in the half. Mahomes hits Noah Gray for a gain of 2. Then Kareem Hunt for a gain of 5. Then an incomplete pass intended for Travis Kelce. Then Matt Araiza comes out and punts the ball 54 yards. Cooper DeJean returns for 6. Philly ball with 12:37 left. Alright, 1-yard loss on a rush by Saquon. Then a 4-yard run by Jalen Hurts. And Jalen with a big play to A.J. Brown for 22. Puts the ball at the Chiefs 32. Saquon gets another 2-yard gain. And then Jalen Hurts hits Saquon for a gain of 3. And then a 2-yard rush by Jalen Hurts. Eagles call a timeout with 8:42 left. And then committed a false start. So and this was initially a 43-yard field goal, but thanks to that false start, it got backed up a few to 48 yards. Jake Elliott makes it no problem. Philly's up 10-0 with 8:38 remaining in the first half. Eagles would then kick it back to the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes would be sacked by Josh Sweat for a loss of 4. And Mahomes gets sacked again by Jalen Hunt and Josh Sweat for a loss of 2. And then with 7:16 left in the second quarter, Mahomes throws an interception to Cooper DeJean, who returns it 38 yards for a touchdown. Now that was a little history for you, as Cooper DeJean becomes the first player in Super Bowl history to score a touchdown in the big game on his birthday, as it was Cooper DeJean's birthday yesterday as well. So that put the Eagles up 17-0 after the PAT by Jake Elliott with 7:03 left in the half. Eagles kick it back to the Chiefs. Isaiah Pacheco gets a 2-yard rushes for a 2-yard loss. And then a 3-yard gain. And then Patrick Mahomes would be sacked a third time by Milton Williams for a loss of 7. That kills the drive. Araiza boots a punt for 42 yards and no return. Eagles get the ball back with 4:49 left. Saquon rushed up the right for a gain of 9. Jalen Hurts would then rush up the right for 2. And then the Eagles would commit a holding penalty that cost them 10 yards, push them back to the 35-yard line. Hurts would be sacked by George Karlaftis for a loss of 6. And then Jalen Hurts throws an incomplete pass intended for Saquon Barkley. Chiefs commit a 15-yard penalty for unnecessary roughness. That moves the ball up to the 44-yard line. Gainwell rushes for no gain. Chiefs call timeout with 2:15 left. And then Jalen Hurts hits Dallas Goedert for a 7-yard pass. And then an incomplete pass by Hurts intended for A.J. Brown. Braden Mann would then punt for 43 yards with no return by the Chiefs. First play on the next Chiefs drive, Mahomes gets intercepted by Zach Bond. And the Eagles get the ball back. Next Philly possession with 1:45 left in the half. Jalen Hurts rushes to the right for 2. Chiefs call timeout. Jalen Hurts would then hit A.J. Brown on a 12-yard touchdown. And then the PAT by Jake Elliott made it 24-0 Eagles. Kansas City gets the ball back with 1:35 left in the half. Jake Elliott kicks it off for a touchback. Chiefs then commit a 10-yard holding penalty, pushes them back to the 20-yard line. Patrick Mahomes throws an incomplete pass down the middle for Samaje Perine, and then hits Hollywood Brown down the middle for a gain of 9. And then another incomplete pass by Mahomes to the right intended for DeAndre Hopkins that stalls the drive out. Ariza punts for 42. Cooper DeJean returns for 8. Eagles get it back with 25 seconds left. Saquon rushes up the right for a gain of 2. And then they would kneel down, and the Eagles would have a 24-0 halftime lead. On to the third quarter, the Chiefs would get the ball, as they did the first to the second half. Jake Elliott kicks off for a touchback. Chiefs get the ball at the 30. Pacheco rushes for a gain of 6. And then it was a Patrick Mahomes pass to Xavier Worthy for 8. And then Mahomes would get sacked on back-to-back plays again. The first sack would be by Jordan Davis for a loss of 1. The second by Josh Sweat for a loss of 6. That brings up 3rd and 17 back at the 37. Mahomes would then rush for a gain of 8 before being tackled by C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Drive ends there. Ariza punts, goes 55 for a touchback. 12 minutes left in the third. The Eagles get the ball back. Jalen Hurts hits Saquon Barkley on a 4-yard pass. And then Saquon runs for a gain of 1 yard. And then a big gainer by Jalen Hurts, a 16-yard run on 3rd and 5. And then Hurts hits Devonta Smith for a gain of 6. And he had back-to-back rushes for Saquon Barkley. The first was a 10-yard pickup that put the ball in Chiefs territory. The second run was for 3 yards. And now the Eagles are driving in Chiefs territory. Jalen Hurts rushes up the middle for a gain of 14. And Hurts hits Saquon Barkley on a 22-yard pickup for being tackled by Drew Tranquill. And then a 3-yard loss for Saquon Barkley before being tackled by Chamari Connor. Eagles call their first time out of the half. Saquon gains 1 yard. And Jalen Hurts throws an incomplete pass intended for Devonta Smith. Eagles commit a 5-yard penalty on a false start. So that backed the field goal attempt up for Jake Elliott. He hits the 29-yarder. Eagles up 27-0 at this point with 5:18 remaining in the third quarter. Eagles kick off to the Chiefs for a touchback. Kansas City ball at the 30. Mahomes hits DeAndre Hopkins for a gain of 11. And then Creed Humphrey would rush up the middle for no gain. He would fumble the ball. Mahomes would recover. And then a lateral to Kareem Hunt for 6 puts it at the Chiefs 47. They would then commit a holding penalty, which pushes them back 10. Kareem Hunt would then rush to the right side for a gain of 1 yard. And then Mahomes hits Travis Kelce for a pickup of 9. And then an incomplete pass to the right intended for DeAndre Hopkins on 4th and 5. That turns the ball over on downs. And Philly gets it back with 2:47 left in the third. And it was a one-hitter quitter for Jalen Hurts as he hits Devonta Smith for a 46-yard touchdown. PAT by Jake Elliott made it 34-0 with 2:40 left in the third. Jake Elliott would kick the ball off for 65 yards. Remigio returns it for 20. The Chiefs commit an illegal block. That's a loss. That's a 10-yard penalty. So that pushes the Chiefs back to the 10-yard line. Biggest play by any team is Patrick Mahomes' pass to Xavier Worthy for a gain of 50. He was tackled by Cooper DeJean. That put the ball at the Philly 39 with 2:03 left in the third. Then an incomplete pass by Mahomes intended for Pacheco. And then a rush by Patrick Mahomes for 3 yards. And then Mahomes hits Travis Kelce for a gain of 13. And then Patrick Mahomes finally gets on the board with a 24-yard touchdown pass to Xavier Worthy. Patrick Mahomes attempts a 2-point conversion to Travis Kelce, which fails. So now the score is 34-6, with 34 seconds remaining in the third. Harrison Butker kicks off for 60. Will Shipley would return it for 25. And Saquon Barkley gets a rush to the left for 4 yards, tackled by Mike Pennell. That ends the third quarter. So the drive continued into the fourth quarter as Jalen Hurts hit Saquon for an 11-yard pass. And then Saquon rushes up the left for the gain of 3. Hurts would then hit A.J. Brown for a gain of 9 in the Chiefs' territory. Then Saquon Barkley would run the ball for a 1-yard loss. But Jalen Hurts got that yard back and then some with a 17-yard run, puts the ball at the Kansas City 27. Saquon rushes up the middle for a gain of 2. Jalen Hurts would then be sacked by Drew Tranquill for a loss of 5. Saquon would then rush up the left side for no gain, tackled by Justin Reed. Chiefs call a timeout. Jake Elliott hits a 48-yard field goal, making the score 37-6 with 9:56 left in the game. Elliott kicks off for a touchback, and the Chiefs get it at the 30-yard line. Mahomes would then be sacked by Milton Williams for a loss of 11, which caused a fumble by Mahomes. Williams picks up the recovered fumble for no gain. And then the Eagles would commit an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for 15 yards. So they would keep the ball, but they would start at the Chiefs' 33. Saquon Barkley rushes to the right for 7 yards, and then to the right for a loss of 2. Eagles call timeout. Saquon would then rush to the left for a gain of a yard. Chiefs call timeout with 8:05 left, and then a false start was levied against the Eagles for 5. Then Jake Elliott boots a 50-yard field goal, and that would cap the scoring on the night for the Eagles as they are up 40-6. 8:01 left in the fourth. The Chiefs get the ball back. It's a 69-yard kickoff for Jake Elliott. Remigio returns it for 29 out to the 25-yard line. Patrick Mahomes then hits Travis Kelce for a 9-yard pickup, and then throws to Isaiah Pacheco for a gain of 5. And then another pass to Travis Kelce for a gain of 8. And then to Xavier Worthy for a gain of 12. In fact, that would be back-to-back plays. The first went for 12 yards. The second went for 5. And then Mahomes throws an incomplete pass to the left intended for Hollywood Brown. The Eagles commits an offside penalty for 4 yards. Samaje Perine rushes up to the right for 8 yards. Patrick Mahomes rushes up the right side for 7. And then Mahomes would hit Hollywood Brown on a 6-yard pickup. Mahomes would then pass to Xavier Worthy for a 7-yard pickup. The Chiefs would then get caught for pass interference, 10-yard penalty. Mahomes then rushes to the left for 7, and then hits DeAndre Hopkins for a 7-yard touchdown. That made it 40-12. And then Patrick Mahomes on the 2-point conversion hits Justin Watson. Philly commits a 5-yard penalty for illegal use of hands. 2-pointer is good, making it 40-14. Then with 2:54 left in the game, Butker kicks off for just 14 yards and no return. That was the onside kick. Gainwell would then rush to the left for a gain of 4. Chiefs call a timeout. Gainwell rushes up the middle for a 1-yard gain, and then it's Gainwell again for a 1-yard loss. And then it's an incomplete pass by Kenny Pickett intended for Jahan Dotson. Chiefs get the ball back with 1:56 left. Mahomes would then hit Xavier Worthy down the middle for a 50-yard touchdown. They would convert the 2-point conversion. They would attempt the 2-pointer as Mahomes hits DeAndre Hopkins to make it 40-22, actually, not 24. And then the final play, or the final drive of the game, another onside kick by the Chiefs for 9 yards and no return. Pickett rushes up the middle for a loss of 2, then a loss of 1, and then in fact, these are all kneel downs, in fact. And that's how this game would end, as the Philadelphia Eagles, for the second time in 8 seasons, are Super Bowl champions, as they defeat the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22 and denied Kansas City a three-peats. Alright, now we're going to look at individual numbers for the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll start with Jalen Hurts, who, by the way, is your Super Bowl 59 MVP. 17 of 22 for 221 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception and a 119.7 passer rating. He also led the team in rushing with 11 carries, 72 yards, and a rushing touchdown. Kenny Pickett attempted a pass for no yards and a 39.6 QB rating. My pick for Super Bowl 59 MVP was Saquon Barkley, and he was held in check on his 28th birthday. 25 carries for just 57 yards. That's 2.3 yards per run. So the Chiefs did a good job stopping Saquon. On the receiving side of things for Philly, Devontae Smith led the way with 4 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown on 5 targets, 17.3 average. A.J. Brown, 3 for 43 yards and a touchdown on 5 targets, 14.3 average. Jahan Dotson, 2 catches, 42 yards on 3 targets. That's a 21 average. Saquon Barkley, 6 catches, 40 yards on 7 targets, 6.7 per grab. And Dallas Goedert, 2 catches, 27 yards on 2 targets at 13.5 per catch. Perfect game for Jake Elliott. 4 for 4 on field goals. Long attempt was 50. And 4 for 4 on extra points. Only 2 punts for Braden Mann, averaging 48 yards. Long punt was 53, with both inside the 20-yard line. Alright, Zach Bond was the leading tackler for the Philadelphia Eagles. He had 7 tackles, a pass defense, and an interception. Oren Burks, playing in place of the injured Nakobe Dean, had 5 tackles. Milton Williams had 4 tackles, 2 sacks, and a forced fumble. Cooper DeJean, as I call him, the super rookie, had 3 solo tackles, a pass defense, and of course that interception return for a touchdown in the second quarter. Quinyon Mitchell, 3 solo tackles. Josh Sweat, 6 total tackles and 2.5 sacks. He's my defensive player of the game. Darius Big Play Slay and Kenneth Gainwell each had 2 solo tackles. Jordan Davis, 2 tackles and a sack. Yep, that's Jordan Davis. Good job. And Jalex Hunt added 2 tackles and half a sack for the Eagles. For the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes played probably one of his worst games in his career by far. 21 of 32, 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a 95.4 QB rating. He also led the team in rushing with 4 carries, 25 yards. Everyone else was held to single digits in rushing yards. My offensive player of the game is Xavier Worthy, who led the Chiefs in receiving with 8 catches for 157 and 2 touchdowns on 8 targets at 19.6 per catch. Travis Kelce also had a bad night. 4 catches, 39 yards on 6 targets. DeAndre Hopkins, 2 catches, 18 yards, and a touchdown on 5 targets. Juju Smith-Schuster, 2 for 16 on 2 targets. Hollywood Brown, 2 catches, 15 yards on 6 targets. Alright, no kicking numbers for the Chiefs as Harrison Butker was used primarily on kickoffs. Matt Araiza with 6 punts, averaging 51.8, long punt of 60, with 2 inside the 20-yard line. Leading tacklers for the Chiefs include Drew Tranquill with 11 tackles and a sack. Justin Reed, 7 tackles. Nick Bolton, 9 tackles. Trent McDuffie, 5 tackles. Chamari Connor, 6 tackles. Tershawn Wharton with 5 tackles. Brian Cook had 4 tackles, plus a pass defense and an interception. And George Karlaftis with 4 tackles and a sack. Alright, to team numbers now. Total yards for 345 for the Eagles, 275 for the Chiefs. They had only 23 yards of offense, Kansas City did, at halftime. Passing yards favored Kansas City, 226 to 210. Rush yards favored Philadelphia, 135 to 49. The Eagles had 21 first downs. The Chiefs had 12. Kansas City was 3 of 11 on 3rd down. Philly was 3 for 12 on 3rd down. Both teams were 0 for 1 on 4th down. 7 penalties, 75 yards for the Chiefs. 6 sacks taken for 31. 1 lost fumble, 2 interceptions, and 6 punts. 8 penalties, 59 yards for the Eagles, 2 sacks taken for 11, no lost fumbles, 1 interception, and 2 punts. Time of possession was 36 minutes, 58 seconds for the Eagles, so that puts them in ball hog territory. And 23 minutes, 2 seconds for the Kansas City Chiefs. Closing line was Kansas City -1. And the over-under was 48. The two teams combined for 62 points. So this game goes over the total. I took the Eagles to win and to cover. And I closed these playoffs with a 9-4 record. Added to my regular season numbers, I ended up with 196 wins on the season. So there it is, folks. That's the Super Bowl 59 edition of the week that was. And with that, we have come to the end of the 2024 football season. I want to thank everyone who tuned in throughout the season for my picks, my power rankings, my recaps, everything. You are the real ones, and I appreciate every last one of you for joining me all season long, and I can't wait to do it again next season. There is no shortage of content coming up on the channel. I'm going back into radio mode here soon as I'll continue writing down information for the Miami radio station's reissue that I started back in July and just now getting back into it because of football season. So that video will be coming soon. And then we'll also reissue the Tampa Bay market as well. As for sports content, we'll be having standings checks in the NHL and NBA every Monday. And when baseball season starts, we'll also do the standings check for Major League Baseball as well. And that'll drop on Mondays. So make sure you join me for that. So we'll be looking at the NBA and NHL standings again next Monday. So I hope you join me for that as well. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. Big Al signing off. Thanks for watching and enjoy the pigskin. Peace out.